The Twins managed to salvage a sweep with some late offense in Milwaukee, and now they're headed home for the home opener. It's going to be Pablo Day on Thursday. We'll cover all that and much more. This is Locked On Twins.
You are Locked On Twins, your daily Minnesota Twins podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello again, and welcome back to Locked On Twins. I'm your host, Brandon Ward, and you can unfollow me on the tweets at Brandon_WARNE. And fist pumping over on the other side of things is Mr. Dave Brown at Answer Dave Brown on his non-clapped Twitter account. How are we doing, Dave?
Non-clapped. It could be crap sometimes, but it's definitely open for business. We're doing good.
Good to hear. Hopefully we're getting close or getting you over 1,000 followers. Thanks for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. Did I steal your thunder?
No, I'm like, follow me and get over 1,000.
Oh yeah,
over 9,000. Have I mentioned that before?
Yeah, well, we'll get you there.
Yeah.
10,000. 10K Dave is going to be our hashtag. Anyway, though, yeah, like I said, thank you for making Locked On Twins your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcasts, also on YouTube. And, of course, as part of the Locked On Podcast Network, we're your team every day. And I think we're going to get to be your first and your second listen here because we also have something cooking up for a home opener special episode that will drop after this one, but not too much after this one. So just keep that on the back of your mind. Also, from brakes to exhaust kits and beyond, eBay Motors has over 122 million parts to keep your ride alive. With all the parts you need to drive, or that you need at the prices you want, it's easy to bring home that big win. Keep your ride alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. eBay guaranteed fit. Only available to U.S. customers. So, Dave, Twins are back in business 7-3, but it had the hallmarks of another frustrating offenseless afternoon, and they came through late. But early on, how were you feeling?
Like I'd been shortchanged. Like everybody was trying to make up for the loss of Royce Lewis or something, and they were pressing. And I don't know if any of that's true, but it just seemed like the Brewers were doing everything. Well, the pitchers, Joe Ross, was doing everything possible to put people on base and put the Twins in position to get some runs, and they just refused to score. It was quite a tantrum of no runs. But then Ryan Jeffers came through with one of the highest home runs. It took forever to go out. He hit it pretty hard, but it was like a 39 or 40 degree launch angle. So I don't know how he managed to get the ball over 100 miles an hour too, but he did.
And if you want a further indication of the difference in these offenses today, the Twins had 15 plate appearances or at bats with runners in scoring position. The Brewers, do you know how many they had, Dave?
None?
2. So while the Twins got 4 hits and 4 for 15 is a touch better than 250, not horrible. All those opportunities lead to a lot of let's just say frustrating elements for fans. And
especially if they don't score, yes.
Well, yeah, and I think the tweets reflected that. Twins did strand Alex Kirilloff at third once, but that was not well-struck ball. Pretty good day for AK, all things considered. But offensively, 7 runs scored. It was a little bit like, I think was it the second game in KC where they came up? Yeah, they had to be the second game where they came alive late offensively and scored like 5 runs in the final 2 innings to win a ball game. But it was good to see a Twins team struggle to start the game and come out of it and, kind of just show people the game isn't over after 3 innings, 4 innings, 5 innings. It just gets so exhausting. I'm not going to tweet as much as I did during games because I can't handle it. It's not good for my mentals to see people insisting that the game is over. And if they don't make adjustments, they're going to lose 85, 90 games. Well, yeah, of course. That's how baseball works.
Well, people that are saying stuff like that goes in one ear and out the other, or one Twitter finger and out the other. It's true until they were able to kind of turn the tables on the vaunted, many vaunts Brewers bullpen. It was a frustrating day, but that doesn't mean like the rest of the season is lost. It's just kind of a bad start. I think things sort of crystallized there in the fourth inning when Edouard Julien was pinch hit for by Rocco, and they put Manuel Margot in, and Manuel decided to bunt, which was not what he was ordered to do. Rocco said he's up there to hit a double against a left-handed pitcher, and he tried to bunt, and it was a terrible bunt. It still almost worked. Joey Ortiz made a great play, but that was kind of the the nadir, or the high point of the low points for the Twins fans. It was a frustrating moment because that was another opportunity that they let slip away. And then Julian was not in the game for the rest of the way. And Hobie Milner is, I guess, one tough customer as a left-handed sidewinder.
Can we go through, though, the play within the play there? Because so Manuel Margot hits for Julien. It's 1-0 in the fourth. People will lose their minds no matter when these moves happen, because you got to let the young lefty face lefties and get better. Well, if you're trying to win games, you really don't have that luxury. Later in the game, though, they were able to let Alex Kirilloff face a lefty. He got a hit. Again, situationally, it's all different. But, excuse me, I had surmised, and it was nice to have Bobby Nightingale Jr. back it up with conversation with Rocco that Margot had done this on his own. It felt like a veteran player, keenly aware that he hasn't been swinging it that well, that sort of thing. But one thing I did think actually made some sense is, bunting off a lefty pitcher. You make him make a play coming off the mound, has to turn all the way around or whatever. Or if you were to do like a safety squeeze with a lefty on, they can't see the guy breaking. I get it. There's 2 outs though. So that bunt, one, there's a force at every base. So I don't like the idea that even if it's a really good bunt, maybe they can shovel it home and still get the out. Or, if you bunt it really hard up the third baseline, there's a lot of permutations, combinations, salutations, whatever, that exactly, that could have led to that becoming an out. And he made it until the play was challenged and he was ruled out. What did you think about that play being overturned? Because I think I had like 5 or 6 DMs of people I don't talk to that often who are saying, how is that overturned? How can you overturn that? They didn't see indisputable video evidence. Now, again, these are Twins fans, so they're not going to want to see that either. But to me, it looked pretty close.
I didn't have a great view of it. I was watching on my phone at the time. So of the actual overturning of the replay, I can't give a good opinion, but I will say that I saw the same opinions that you did. And I think I was listening to Morneau and Corey on the broadcast, and one of them said, I'd be surprised if, I think it was Morneau said, I'd be surprised if they overturn this because it's so close. So, people who are outraged or whatever, that was kind of the preponderance of the opinion out there, that it was, there is no such thing as tie goes to the runner, but right. Literally, but people, I think, were anticipating catching a break there. It was what a great play by Joey Ortiz. I saw that part clearly, and it was amazing hands and quickness, and there aren't very many third basemen that actually make that play. I think
Morneau said it was the shortstop in him making that play.
I think that's a good bit of analysis. So here, you said it afterward. You suspected that it was Margot freelancing on the bunt. Yep. 9 times out of 10, maybe 99 of 100, that's going to be the play. Actually, the ball player is going to be the one who's bunting. It's not going to be the manager. And I think you laid out a bunch of reasons why it wouldn't have been Rocco, and it turned out to be Margot. He's thinking about is everyone's struggling. We're trying to catch a break. I'm trying to catch him by surprise. So I get that. I understand that. It's not the play that you probably should do. It's not 100% unexpected. it wasn't the way to go, but I see what Margot was getting at by attempting the bunt. It might have worked if he had actually had a better bunt, but Rocco said it. He's up there to hit doubles against left-handed pitching. That's why they got him. And so it was a frustrating moment, but the Twins, I think the next inning it might have been 1-2-3. They didn't get anything going. So it took him a while to kind of get back into the swing of things offensively. But Jeffers coming through, that was a big moment. He was obviously very due to do something. And he, sometimes the 3-run homer, as Earl Weaver would say, is the way to go.
So the bunt happens. He's out. 2 or 1 pitch later, Rhys Hoskins homers. And it felt like you go from tying the game to down 2-0. Offense is not doing anything. By this point, obviously, Joe Ross is out. So even though he's walking the whole team, you still have that kind of stigma of him not being hit in that game. So I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of things coming together. In the 5th, Twins go single, fly out, walk, fielder's choice, line out. So they get back one of the runs to cut it in half. Let's come back to Jeffers, and we'll come back to a few other things. We'll go back to Kirilloff, too, because he had a really great game. And a couple of guys driving the walk train for the Twins that you may or may not be surprised by. But first, a word from our friends. And first up, eBay Motors. Passion, drive, and patience are what bring home the winning trophy and also what keep your ride alive. eBay Motors has everything you need to maintain your vehicle and level it up to peak performance. Whether your Toyota Tercel needs a supercharger, a roof rack, an exhaust kit, LED headlights, or more, whether you want speed, power, or style, eBay Motors has you covered. Over 122 million parts for your number one ride. You'll always find exactly what you're looking for with eBay's Guaranteed Fit, too. Your part is guaranteed to fit your ride every time, or you get your money back, because with eBay Motors, you're burning money. Nope, you're burning rubber, not money. Ha, easy for me to say. With all the parts you need at the prices you want, it's easy to turn your car into the MVP and bring home the W. So keep your ride alive at ebaymotors.com. Eligible items only. Exclusions apply. See eBay's Guaranteed Fit, but it is only available to U.S. customers. And next, we have to give some love to GameTime. If you're looking for some tickets, some last-minute tickets to let's say the home opener. I guess there's some tickets available for that. Thumb through the GameTime app, see what's available. If you want to do a zone deal where you tell them the general idea where you want to sit, they find you the best seat, best value. Flash deals where you can save even more if it's an upcoming event as well. And then last minute deals too. You can get tickets up to the time of the game plus 1 hour into it. So if you are really, really looking to get into the game, you don't have to worry about the game starting and you being left out in the cold. You still have options to get into the park. So again, go through the GameTime app. There's concerts, there's ball games, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, as high as I can count, which is at least 3 or 4. You get your seat view. It's a panoramic seat view. You'll see where you're sitting and what it looks like from where you're sitting, and you get the lowest price because with the GameTime guarantee, you are credited 110% of the difference if you find the same section and row elsewhere. So they'll cover you. They'll give you 110% the difference. And all-in pricing, if you toggle that feature on, it'll show you the total up front. You won't have any fees or anything at checkout that surprise you. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with GameTime. For a limited time, all users can get $20 off any MLB purchase of $150 or more in the GameTime app with the code FIRSTPITCH. Terms do apply, but that's code FIRSTPITCH for $20 off from March 25th to April 14th only. So you got about 10, 11 days to get in on this deal. Download the GameTime app today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. All right, Dave, Twins grab the 7-3 W. We've kind of gone over the Manuel Margot bunt, the good and the bad and the ugly. More bad and ugly, in my opinion. Byron Buxton, though, we didn't talk about him. He had a good game as well. Really starting to swing it. And he's 2 for 5. slashing 316, 381, 474 on the season. DHing today, so I suspect obviously that's just to get him rip-roaring ready to go in the home opener to play center. It's hard not to be excited about Byron Buxton in the home opener, playing center field at home for the first time in a year and a half plus. Yeah, it's just I'm very encouraged by Buxton in light of, the Royce Lewis injury.
Yeah, it's good that they're building in not days off, but tasks off by making him DH a couple times. He was also the DH, I think, in the last game at Kansas City.
Yep.
So it's good that that's where he is physically, and he's hit a couple of rockets up at the plate. He doesn't have any home runs yet. He hasn't gotten any elevation, but he seems to be hitting the ball hard. He's running fast and aggressive, and I would say fearless, not careless or reckless, but he's not afraid out there. And that's, Buxton using his legs, whether on defense or on offense, are, two of the things that make him one of the more exciting players and productive players in the game. So those are great signs. We kind of glossed over it a little bit, but before the comeback, the home run by Rhys Hoskins got me thinking, well, that could have been, that could have been a Twins homer. I mean, that was a guy, I don't know how much they were thinking about signing him, but he would have made some sense, even with Carlos Santana coming aboard. Putting Hoskins at DH is really like maybe his perfect position, but that right-handed thunder, it would have looked good in the Twins lineup. It would have, I still think they have a very good lineup overall, the early season slump notwithstanding, but I was kind of thinking, that, especially for the money, that would have been a pretty good deal having him on the Twins.
Yeah, and I think if the budget hadn't been slashed, there would have been one more addition in some form or fashion out of free agency. I think they still may have gotten another pitcher, but it wouldn't shock me if Hoskins was in that mix, just to, again, give them a chance to also buy on a guy who, if was healthy, would have gotten a longer deal, more money, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think that point is well taken. I think that, the woulda, coulda, shoulda is going to pop up a few times this season with guys like Rhys Hoskins. And
it was a bit of a frustrating moment just beyond that, because the Twins really, until Jeffers came up later in the game against Payamps, they weren't, taking advantage of the ballpark, and they weren't going deep. And the Brewers, it's not like they hit a ton of home runs, but they were hitting enough that it was, Milwaukee's a place where you can go deep and get some dingers, and the Twins weren't taking advantage of that. And it was just one of those things where, come on already, you've got a million guys on base every inning. Somebody's got to come through with a hit, and hitting one over the fence would be nice, especially. So it was kind of a little bit of a microcosm, frustrating moment, I think, for fans when Hoskins went deep. But things have a happy ending sometimes.
And it had been since the opening inning that the Twins had homered, right? Royce Lewis homer, and then I don't think they had homered since. So
no, they hadn't.
Something like let's see, about 40 some innings probably. So certainly a sight for sore eyes. I got to be honest though, Dave, I hate these 2-game series. I don't like them.
Yeah. Is it really a series if you don't play 3? It's like a streak. Is there such a thing as a 2-game winning streak? I mean, maybe technically, and sometimes technically is the best correct. But
maybe for the White Sox that is.
I agree.
Ooh, yikes. One breath of fresh air.
And especially, can I finish your thought about the 2? You don't need a 2-game series in Milwaukee. I mean, I know it's interleague play, so they're like, the schedule is Rubik's cubed to death, but you don't need days off in between. You got a dome there.
Yeah.
You can just play as many games as you want. Anyway, sorry.
Well, and then they have 2 in Minnesota in July. Like, it doesn't really work for me, but anyway, let's pause one more time here. I do have a few things we'll get to down the stretch here, including one thing that I thought was really a sight for sore eyes. But first, a word from PrizePicks. PrizePicks is North America's largest daily fantasy sports platform. It's the easiest and most exciting way to play DFS because it's just you against the numbers. So instead of battling thousands of other players, whole bunch of other entries, you pick more than or less than on 2 to 6 player stat projections and watch the winnings roll in. And if you're a risk taker, you have an option. And if you're more of a safe, play it safe kind of person, you've got that option as well. Demon picks are marked in red, and they're scary. They can accelerate your heartbeat because you can win big money, like 100 times your money. So if you bet $10, you get 1,000. But if you're more cautious, you go with a goblin pick marked in green because it's designed to keep you in the green and lead you to consistent victories. Payouts are less, but your chances of keeping the winning streak going are much, much higher. So if you're into the NBA, you can pick more than or less than on everything from 3-pointers made to turnovers committed. And for Major League Baseball, you can pick more than or less than on pitcher strikeouts, first inning runs, you name it, they've got it. So download the app today and enter code LOCKEDONMLB for a first deposit match up to $100. Again, that's code LOCKEDONMLB, all one word and all lowercase, and get that first deposit match up to $100. Join PrizePicks. Pick more, pick less. It's that easy. Now, Dave, the one thing I really liked was Carlos Correa ranging back to catch that pop-up over his shoulder. And I don't think you can overstate as a layperson like you or me how difficult of a play that is to make. I've tried to make it a few times in like old man softball, and it's really difficult. Now add to the fact that it's baseball, it's Major League, there's the speed, the size of the ball, et cetera, et cetera. That's an incredible fielding play that I don't know too many shortstops make look that easy.
Running away from the play, yeah. In general, it's I don't know if your mind tricks you or what, but maybe it's your frame of reference to what you can see. It's almost like you're not waiting to be surprised, but you're sort of waiting for the ball to come to you rather than you to go to the ball. It's kind of a weird reversal thing, but it's
the top spin of it too.
Yeah.
You're running one way and the ball is breaking that way, but then it's so strange.
Well, it's one of those, it's not a little thing. It's a big thing that he does, but it's another component to his game that, explains why he's so valuable as a player. It's he's made a lot of nice plays on defense, and his health has showed up in a big way on both sides of the ball. He had a great at bat today, taking a walk. I think he got down 0-2 at one point. I forget the pitcher, it was a right-hander. It wasn't that Hobie Milner, I'll tell you that left
fifth inning JB Bukauskas.
That's right. Is yeah. So I mean, we're not talking about their best pitcher or anything, but it was still a great at bat, and it just those things add up and will add up to more runs even than what they got today.
I think too, something to not lose sight of is with Devin Williams out, your bullpen shortens up to where maybe Bukauskas isn't throwing in that role.
True.
And you have Pineapps throwing later, and maybe you shuffle Abner Uribe in there somewhere else too. And so it is a wrinkle. I mean, it applies to the Twins too with Duran out. It applies to the Twins too with Topa out, and the bullpen looked very, very, very good. But again, it's something to think about. If you get to the Brewers late and they don't have a healthy bullpen top down, especially starting at the top, can you hear that?
I heard something, but it sounded like
my ESPN
box going on.
My ESPN box score keeps auto playing, so I'm really not loving that. Sorry, where was I? Oh, so the bullpen. Yeah, the bullpens get compressed. Or get stretched out, or however you want to visualize it, with injuries. And that is the case for both of these teams, and the Twins were able to overcome it and also capitalize on it.
Stewart and Jax pitched in higher leverage, and then Okert finished. He didn't get a save, but he did go in the ninth inning with the 4-run lead. So I believe 7-3.
Yeah. And that's where too, Jax came in and faced 2-3-4, if I'm not mistaken, in the 8th, and Stewart in the 7th. Now, again, people are like, well, who are you going to have for the save? Doesn't matter if your offense comes through with another run. Like the idea of lengthening the game in that sense,
right?
If your pitcher is if Duran pitches that 8th inning and you go to Jax, nobody's going to say, oh, Jax is better than Duran, he should throw the 9th. It's more along the lines of, okay, well, if you get through the 8th inning, your team scores some runs in the 9th, doesn't matter who throws the 9th inning. You can throw Cole Sands out there. You can throw Daniel Duarte out there if he hadn't pitched yet, right, which he had. But you understand my point. Oak Ridge is another guy who, Oak Ridge Boys gets in there. And
have you called him that yet?
I'm going to go with either that or Mean Gene.
Oh, I like Oak Ridge Boys, but
Oak Ridge Boys. But yeah, so one or the other. We'll see which one catches on with Cody Funder down under. But I digress. I don't know. I don't know where I was going with that.
I don't know. I was thinking, except for the Ober game, I think that the pitching has been pretty good.
Yeah. It's funny though. If you listen to Twins fans, they're still grumbling about pitching, and it's like, I don't know. I mean, Ober got hit hard, but it's one start, and they've been fine otherwise. And a 3-2 road trip, like that's nothing to shake a fist at. A 3-2 road trip, you'll take that any day.
We joke about like must wins and that kind of thing. And it wasn't
right.
Like opening day wasn't a must win, even going back to that. But I think just kind of how they played on opening day, how they played in this game, little clues about, they had some adversity, more so today than on opening day. But it bodes well for tomorrow. And I mean that, the big picture tomorrow, not just the Friday opener, about how the team's going to play. I think they've played tough. They haven't played their best baseball, but I think mostly the bullpen has been really solid, and that's without a Duran being out there and some other guys too. I mean, they're really deep in the bullpen. The starting pitching, Paddock was better than Varland, but he'll have better starts. He was kind of inconsistent. He couldn't get the breaking ball over.
Right.
Spiking it a lot. But still kind of a win for him getting out there for the first time in a long time. And I expect better from him, but it wasn't anything to worry too much about as far as performance.
Well, and he doesn't have to write home about it because they hopped on a plane after the game to come home. So
does anybody write home anymore anyway?
No, I don't know. I don't think so. But if I were to use 2 words to define the first 5 games of the Twins season, it would be adversity and depth.
Yeah.
And the depth one I hammered over and over again all spring. And for adversity, I mean, they're basically cousins. Your adversity, your depth will bring you through adversity, and your adversity will test your depth. It's a cyclical thing. And so far, like, I'm not saying they're getting battle tested by the Royals or Brewers, but they've gone through some things that teams have to go through in a season to galvanize their identity, and I think they'll be better for it.
The Brewers won a division last year and came into this series undefeated.
They're young, they're good, yeah.
Yeah, and the Royals, they only won 56 games last year, but they're better than that this year, and they've played competitively against the Orioles in the series since they moved on from the Twins. So it's not meaningless so far, the kinds of games that they've played and the quality of opponents that they played. Speaking of depth, Jose Miranda playing third base.
I wanted to mention that.
For St. Paul tonight. They didn't seem like they were in a hurry to put him over there, but it would seem like it's a good thing that at least I saw him make a play on defense.
Nice one.
Social media. So that's what you need to hear.
It makes me wonder if the plan is to get him up here sooner rather than later, because listen, I like Austin Martin. I think he brings an element that is, the speed when he pinch ran for Kirilloff. Granted, it was third base off a triple, so he was going to go out there defensively anyway. But I don't know. I mean, do you think Miranda's a better fit for this roster than Martin at this point?
Martin might be a little bit, with Buxton continuing to be healthy, it's very possible. I think here's how maybe we should look at this. the Twins right now have a certain amount of pitchers and a certain amount of position players. But a couple of their better relief pitchers, certainly their best relief, maybe it's Jax, but Duran and Theobar, you get them back. Maybe you don't need absolutely every pitcher that they have down in the bullpen, and you add another offensive player. I still think they might be a right-hander short, and Miranda could be that guy to once in a while play third base. And Lewis is going to be out for 2 months. So, we think something like that. So at least one. So it's going to be a while. So maybe with the roster looking a little bit different, once a couple pitchers get healthy, Miranda looks maybe more like a guy you can carry and less of a luxury. And I think that could be something to look forward to in the coming weeks.
Yeah, I would have to probably thumb through Roster Resource. Big fan of Roster Resource, by the way, at Fangraphs, to see which teams have like that 14-12 split position player versus pitcher, because I'm sure, especially early in the season where you're trying to kind of feel out what your roles are, it's probably not the case. And everybody wants pitching, and more pitching. But you definitely could go the route of 12. It's not uncommon. It's not all that surprising. So we'll see. But no Guardians preview talk. But why is that, Dave?
Oh, I don't know. We don't care. Oh, no, that's not it. We'll talk about the Guardians series in our next podcast video, which also includes an extended interview, answer man style. I don't even know if listeners and viewers know what that means, but
we're going to tell them when the time comes.
Okay. With Pablo Lopez, we spent about, a good amount of time with Pablo and talking about a wide variety of things. And that's coming up in the next show.
Well, I'll go change out of this sweatshirt so people think it's a different day that we're recording. But thanks for hanging out with us for this edition of Locked On Twins. Opening day coming up here. We got a whole fun preview episode with some Pablo talk. Thanks for hanging out with us, and we'll see ya